It's real, the mic stays warm. Hosted by the dad with lots of charm. Insights are sharp and data silence already, and the joke's online. Hot takes, real talk, keeping it true. From high school halls to podcast cues, live and learn a lot. Turn it up, this show is hot. Grab your coffee, let's get into it. No filter, no fluff, just real talk. Let's do it. Ready or not, here we go. It's the time for Murphman to start the show.
What's up, Connor? How's everyone doing? Welcome to Hot Takes with the Murphman. I am the Murphman, and I'm here with my co-host, Connor. How's everything going, bro?
Good. How's everything going with you, Murphman?
It is going amazingly well.
Why do you say that?
Well, for one, I'm on a summer vacation, right? But just think about everything that's going on in our lives right now, Connor. It's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a little bit awesome.
You know, we're going to talk today about transitioning careers, and it is so perfect. That's the one we're going to be talking about today, because I have changed a lot of things in the last 365 days.
Really?
Yeah. A year ago, I was barely starting the idea of a podcast.
Yeah.
And look where you are now, dude. Pretty amazing.
Crazy.
Oh, you seem so freaking excited. Hey, question. Have you been watching any of the World Cup games?
Nope.
No? Why not?
It's not
You're
my
sleeping.
thing. World Cup's not my thing. Why do you ask?
Well, Mexico won 2-0 or 2-1. I forget.
2-0.
2-0. So that was an awesome game. But last night, El Paso. We had two El Paso players on the USA team, and USA Paraguay 4-1, I think.
Yes.
You know, it's not your thing, but you know all the scores, huh?
Yeah.
TikTok, huh?
Yeah. Well, no. Instagram. But yeah.
Instagram Reels,
same
but it's
thing.
all the same thing now. Before it used to be different, you know. But yeah, World Cup soccer is amazing. It's coming on. It's the best. I got to tell you, I'm very excited right now. It's gonna be a great summer, you know. But I'll tell you what. How about we go ahead and just ignite that fuse? Transitions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need to do this? Well, when you have career transitions, it's an entire change of everything that you've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like, I used to work at Kmart as a cart boy and a cashier and a floor person. All of a sudden, I'm in the Army. That's a career transition. And then I went from that, I went back to Kmart and Taco Bell for a month. And then went back in, different job, got out. And I've had a couple different jobs. I've had my counseling job. I've had my caseworker jobs. I've had my educator jobs. Lots and lots and lots of careers in my life. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
A good thing.
How often do you think a person changes careers in their lifetime?
3-4 times.
3 or 4?
Maybe.
In my day, when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 7.
Damn.
But now, you think of all the millennials that are jumping ship. They change jobs. It's nothing about loyalty anymore. You don't stay in one place because you owe them whatever. You're literally just jumping ship whenever you want to go somewhere else. So it's probably going to be more than 7. But before, the average was about 7. And I could say I've had about 7 careers. Right now, I have 12 going on at the same time. Right?
Yeah.
You know, I'll talk about that a little later. But I do want to tell everybody that when you think about all this stuff, right? You think of all the different things that are going on in your life, and you tell yourself, I could never do that. Have you ever said that to yourself, Connor?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot. Really?
Yeah.
That's sad. I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay.
No, it's because you can do a lot if you just apply yourself a little bit more.
I just don't want to.
And you don't want to. That's why I say it's sad.
Okay.
Because it's not a thing of wanting to change or not change. It's just you don't have an interest in it. And when you don't have an interest in something, it's hard to move on. But what happens if you're offered something, like, for example, I was at a meeting one time for the counselors, and one of my friends says, hey, Sean, how come you don't teach at the college? And I said, I'm not a teacher. And, well, I decided to go for the job, and I ended up getting it. And that's how I started teaching, just because one of my friends said, hey, why don't you try it? So that's why I tell people, don't be so against trying things, because you just never know where you're going to end up. Okay. It's one of those things that I want you to keep an eye on that and realize, hey, things do change, and we'll get through whatever the case may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will tell you this also. When you're sitting here and looking at careers, it's not easy, because you have to look at all your options. And it's really hard to look at all your options when you don't know what you want to do, right? Like we asked you, what do you want to do in college when you grow up, right? People don't really know what they want to do. That's one of the problems we're having, is people don't know what they want to do. So how do you figure that out? So that's what we're going to talk about today, Connor. We're going to talk about how everyone can look at the situation that they're in and decide that they want to change their careers. They just don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we can help someone, and you're going to love this, Connor, move with their cheese.
Oh. Every time, man.
Every time. I got to tell you. All right, so I'll tell you, let's get to today's burn question. To get things started, I want to think about, what do you have to do? What's the most important thing you'd have to do before you make a career transition? Is it get a degree, update your resume, network with people in your desired link or field, I should say, or read a book about it?
I would have to say networking with people.
Networking with people. You think that's the answer?
Yes.
I think you are correct, Connor.
Yay.
Because networking is the most important thing that we have to do. We don't realize it because we don't think about it. But I will tell you this, going around and talking to people and saying, hey, this is something I want to try to do, is a very, very big deal, because you just never know what's out there, right?
Yeah.
Now, as we're talking about this, and we have, the burning question, right? People don't think about it. You have friends in college. You've made some friends, right?
Yeah.
A few, more than a few. But what have you been doing with your friends for the most part?
Literally just hanging out, doing whatever together.
Just hanging out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what does that entail?
That we're good friends. I don't know.
Okay. But you've also helped each other with studying. You've also talked about each other's careers. You also talked about each other's education.
I guess at some point, yeah.
Has anything of that rubbed off on you and said, hey, maybe that's something I want to try?
No.
Why? Like, what other fields of study that?
Accounting.
Accounting, yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
What else?
Nursing.
Okay.
No. That's it.
That's it? Okay.
For the most part, yeah.
That's pretty much, you're hanging around. Now, I've told you, you want to date nurses because they're a lot of fun.
I'm not going to date a nurse.
Why not, Connor? There's nothing wrong with dating a nurse.
Not my thing.
It's not your thing. All right. It's not your thing. I love the way you say that. It's not my thing. But let me tell you, I've talked to friends and they've had jobs where I'm like, that is such a cool job. Like I had a friend of mine, he was an engineer and he came to Las Cruces to work on building a bridge. And hey, real quick, good morning to MBR. They just shouted out to us on TikTok. So I want to say hi to them. The engineer had this job where he came to Las Cruces to work for 2 to 3 years to finish a project. And once that project was done, he moved. He made a whole lot of money. Okay. He was younger than I was. He was well organized. He did great. And I look back on that, I'm like, wow, that could have been me if I hadn't taken the path that I chose, right? Engineering, I like math and stuff like that. So I looked at that and I'm like, hey, maybe that's something I could have done. And I regret not doing it. But at the same time, the path that's led me to where I'm at now, I don't regret at all.
Really?
Yeah. Because you know how many people I've helped as far as the counselor is concerned? Hundreds. Like, let's just say I had to get 60 new clients every 6 months. So if I didn't change anything, that means I had 120 people minimum that I saw, not to count my groups, not to count my parenting classes, not to count any of that. And I did that for 17 years.
Damn. That's
4,000 people. I know I've helped several hundred.
Yeah.
So I don't regret my career choice at all. Now, do I regret not making as much money as I could have? Yes.
Yeah.
But is it all about the money?
Sometimes.
Well, there's a movie, and I'll tell you what. I'll remind me to come back to that after the break after hot takes, so I can get the movie. But there's this doctor, and he's a student, and he's a resident. He's going to go to college, right? And he is working as an orderly at the hospital just to get some experience. And while he's walking in the hallway one day, he's mopping, and this doctor is in a room, and they're having a patient that is having like a seizure or something. And he runs over and he tells the guy, come here, help us. You hold that leg and you're not going anywhere for the next 8 hours. Right? So the guy did what he was told. At the end of that, they're washing up and the doctor says, so, what are you? Oh, I'm trying to be a doctor, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, are you in it for the money or to help people? And the guy goes, for the money. And the doctor, as he's shaking off his hands, drying out, he goes, got some blood on your shirt, and walks out. To say it's not about the money. You're dealing with people's lives on a daily basis. So at the end of the movie, he bumps into that doctor again. And the doctor says, for the money or to help people? And then the kid goes, to help people.
Yeah.
And the money. So when you can do both, that's great, right?
Yeah.
If you can do a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life. You ever heard that before?
Yeah.
Because you're working and you're not having to do anything, right? That you don't like. You like your job, so is it really working?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Right? Like I covered my class in Spanish this semester. That tore me up, man. That was a rough coverage. I'm not used to it, right? I got used to it after a couple months, but that was just a whole mindset I had to change. And that's where I was just like, this is crazy. And as we think about our careers, you got to ask yourself, why are you doing that job? That's the most important thing. I'll tell you what, let's get to today's hot take, Connor, and then we can talk about that a little more. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Hold on. Value is the only relevant metric. The idea a dream job is a generational myth designed to keep you trapped in it. Okay. You're told as your parents, you need to stick in the job. You got to stick to it. You cannot change, blah, 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 blah. The real career goal isn't finding one you're perfect role for, but developing enough transferable skill agility. All right. Transferable skills to jump successfully between 3 and 5 different industries over your lifetime. Transferable skills. What do you think those would be, Connor? Any idea what that means?
Skills that could go from one to another job.
Right. Like talking to people. That's a job that a lot of people need, right? Communication. Working at Taco Bell, I had to learn to work faster and as a team.
Mm-hmm.
That was an interesting job to me. I only did it for a couple months, but not because I quit. Well, I quit, but I can't say, well, okay, you tell me if I quit or not. We all got caught drinking there the weekend, and on Monday morning, I pretty much said, I can't stay here. I wasn't fired, but it was very awkward for me to be there.
So you quit?
Yeah. The manager got fired because he was giving us beer. But I quit. Do you think I really quit or got fired? Quit, right? Yeah. Do you understand why I quit, though? That was one of those things I had to walk away from. It wasn't healthy for me.
Because you could have gone fired.
Yeah. Well, I would have been fired on the spot like the manager was.
Well, maybe not. You never know.
Well,
you
if
never
they
know.
fired, no, I want you to think about this. I'm an underage person drinking alcohol at work. I had a lawsuit on my hands if I was fired. Looking back now, I'm like, God, I was so stupid. I should let them, fire me or whatever, But I'm not that kind of person, so I'm not going to turn someone in. But yeah, it's those transferable skills that I learned there really helped me understand the things that go on, like in fast food. So if I ever opened up a business in a restaurant, I'd be very wary about the people I work with, because you have to treat them right, and they treat their customers right. And they treat the customers right, the customers are happy, and then you can make some money as a business owner.
Yeah.
Right. So you never really know where your skills are going to be transferable from. But I'll tell you what, when we come back from the break, let's go over some of these terms that we've been talking about, and we'll go from there. So we'll be right back.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murphman will return after these messages.
According to the VA's suicide data report, an average of 22 veterans die by suicide every single day. This figure is a sobering reality and a crisis that demands our immediate attention and compassion. We must recognize and address the fact that every 24 hours, 22 veterans are losing their lives to suicide. The war doesn't always end when our veterans come home. The invisible wounds they carry, wounds that are real and heavy, require continuous support. No veteran should have to carry this burden alone. Many veterans experience stress and disconnection as they navigate life after service. But there is hope, there is help, and you are not alone in this fight. There's a vibrant community ready to support you, offering friendship, understanding, and shared experiences. You served your country, now let us serve you. Don't fight the toughest battle in silence. Your mission now is to reach out. Dial 988, then press 1. Text them at 838255. The Veterans Crisis Line is available 24/7. Every day, we save lives. Your life is invaluable, and your service is honored. Let's work together to make 22-0 again. No veteran should face their struggles alone. Together, we can ensure every veteran finds the support and hope they deserve.
He gets help, but he still feels off season out on the TV about a dog batting said, this is a man's best friend. Whoa, so he goes one day and he picks it up. Never thought a dog could bring so much love and put a smile on his face. But he's finally found a saving grace. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free. Put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22-0 again.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.u.
A song by Ryan Spencer. He wrote a song called Make 22-0 Again, because there's an average of 22 suicides a day for veterans and active duty soldiers.
Mhm.
And that is something that should not be happening to anybody. There's help for you. Do you happen to know the number you can call, Connor? We haven't done this in a couple of weeks. I don't know if you remember the number.
What? The suicide hotline would be 988,
Yes.
I think.
Very good. Good memory. Right
Okay.
on. All right. So, yeah, 988, and you press 1. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. 24/7, 365 days a year, there's someone there to talk to you. So please, you guys, if you're wanting to get help, it doesn't matter if you're a veteran or not. That's the hotline. Call it, press 1, get some help, and like that, you'll be around to hear us next week. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll tell you what. I think it's time we review some of the terms we're going to be covering today. All right, let's do that. You guys, and laying down the coals. I want to clarify these terms so we can know what we're talking about when we start talking about this. But a career pivot is a strategic shift from one career path to another. Okay. Transferable skills, we already talked about. Abilities like communication, teamwork, and problem solving that apply across any job you ever get. And then you have informational interview, a conversation with someone in the field you're interested in and ask about their experiences. Do those make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's one of those things where you ask yourself, all right, what am I doing here? What am I trying to learn here? So let's talk about that career pivot first. Sometimes a career pivot is something that happens and it's not really intentional.
Yeah.
You're not just going to go one day and say, I think I'm going to become a doctor.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you, I've had, you know the story. I had someone whose sister-in-law studied to become a doctor, became a psychiatrist, opened her own practice, right? Making good money. And she's like, screw this. I'm going to go sell houses.
I remember that. Yeah.
That's a true story. Yeah. That's a career pivot. Because I mean, years and years and years to get to where she was. And she's like, I don't like it. I don't understand.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
I don't understand that.
Well, people just don't find it enjoying as they thought they would.
Well, okay. Yeah, but you go through an internship and you actually practice for 1.5 to 2 years before you actually get to that point. So you already have that experience, your internship and everything before you do that.
I mean,
like if you do an internship when you were at your tech program and you would work on stuff, you liked it, right?
Yeah.
If you didn't like it, you would be like, I'm not going to do this.
Well,
right?
I mean, yeah.
You're already exposed to it. You don't have to be exposed to it for 10 years and be like, I think this is not what I want to do anymore.
Well, I mean, people just don't find the interest anymore if it's like repeated and they don't find the spark anymore. So
okay, that could be a reason.
That could probably is the reason.
But I'm talking about someone who goes through all that training and everything and then just ignores, like, for example,
not ignores it. No, it's just they just want to try something new.
Okay.
Because they didn't ignore it if they had a own law firm and all that.
No, they didn't. But they get to a point where they said, I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay.
I did a career pivot.
And what was that?
I was a counselor. I don't do counseling anymore. Did I lose interest in it?
No.
No. Did I hate doing the job?
No.
No. So why would I walk away from something I've studied my entire life for? Since I was 19 years old till I was 46.
I don't know.
Well,
might as well.
When your mom died, I didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh, well.
Because it's not funny, haha funny. But as she was dying, I had a client who was dying. And they died the same week.
Oh.
So I had to deal with this family dealing with that, and I had to deal with me dealing with that. And it really, really hit home. And then after that, I had 2 more clients whose moms were dying. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I was helping them and everything, but personally, the toll it took on me was too much. It was too much. So I sort of walked away from counseling.
Yeah, right? You could say that.
You know, it's been 10 and a half years. Well, 10 years and 3 months since I stopped doing counseling. March 31st was my last day.
Wow.
Yeah. And now I'm like doing counseling here, doing a business here, doing consulting here. I'm back to what I was doing. It's a different kind of counseling, right?
Yeah.
But my consulting firm is opening up. So, we do come back to our roots. Okay.
I guess, yeah.
To some extent. The other thing that we talk about is informational interviews. When you have those people that you're interested in working in the field, go talk to them. Go ask, hey, what do you like about your job, or what do you not like about your job? Is your life good? Is your life bad? Is it stressful? Right? Have a friend of mine that had a job working as a curriculum planner, making pretty good money, right?
Mm-hmm.
They changed bosses, they changed program, and she's like, nah, I'm going to take a pay cut and just stop and quit. There was no informational interview there for her. She went and talked to a friend of hers and said, hey, this is what's going on with me. And the friend's like, come work with us. And she's like, okay. So she did, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other friend I had, the one that does physics and stuff, right? She got into it because she liked math. And she ended up going to physics. That's the only reason she got into physics. It wasn't like she grew up saying, hey, I want to be a physicist.
But why not just do math?
Well, it is. Physics is complex.
Well, like just regular math.
Well, because she likes complex math.
So then do like calculus.
Physics is above calculus as far as math is concerned.
Well,
do you know what let me see if I can see if I do this right. If I'm wrong, y'all correct me, let me know, okay? But quantum physics, have you ever heard of that term before?
Yeah, but I can't explain it.
Okay. Every possibility exists at every moment of time.
Mm-hmm.
For example, will these glasses fall off the table?
No.
What if I told you they're already falling?
No.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. But an outside force comes in, pushes the glasses off. Well, were they already falling before I pushed them off?
No.
And until that exact moment, all possibilities were possible. So when you think about quantum physics, you got to think of that. And now, quantum computers, okay, you know what binary is? It's on or off, right? Okay, so a light switch on or off. Yeah. Okay, 1 or 0, 1 or 0. With quantum physics, and computers, it can actually do everything at once. So calculations that's supposed to take several million years, for example, are taking hours because it can calculate so much data at once. When you think about quantum computers and AI and all the computers that are coming up, wow. Your adult life is going to be so weird because so many changes are going to happen. You're going to talk to your kids and be like, man, I remember before AI, I actually had to type my own stuff. Oh my God, I can't believe you had to type. You had to literally like push buttons to get the letter, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about to be like that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things where the technology is going to be there and it's really going to be messing people up because it is completely different. You know, they talk about I lost my train of thought. Oh, that AI is going to replace people. And what I have heard, and I agree with it, it's not replacing people, it's replacing tasks. Like
that were made for people though.
Yeah, but
and then people are losing their jobs because AI is already doing it, and we're losing people in the job force because of AI.
Yeah, but
we're still losing people though.
But I don't hear of secretaries losing their jobs.
Well, do you trust AI that much to run a government? No.
Not a government, but my phone system, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we've talked about this.
No.
You're going to call into my company, press 1 for this, 2 for this, 3 for this.
Okay, well, yeah.
The system's going to analyze the phone call. And then if there's one that needs more information, I'm going to send it to my virtual secretary.
I don't know. I don't trust it.
Well, hopefully if I can program it right, it does it right. And then virtual secretary says, okay, you know, let me make an appointment for you or whatever. And if they need more information, then they transfer the call to me or give me a message or something. Yeah. I can do all that without having to hire a secretary. Is it taking the job away from a secretary?
I mean, opportunity for a secretary, yeah. But
no one's losing their job.
But no one's getting a job either.
You're right.
So,
but no one's losing the job. That's what I'm saying. It's not
I guess,
replacing people. It's replacing tasks.
But then the more people that do that, then the less secretaries we have.
Yeah, at some point we don't need secretaries. We were looking for an office. You remember the virtual office we went to?
Yes.
I could rent a space there whenever I need it.
The office.
I could have my mailbox there. But I mean, I don't have to actually rent a space for the whole month. I can go in and rent it for a day, have my meetings, and leave. It makes me look professional. I have a secretary that answers my phone calls. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, but she's been a secretary for 20 different companies or more. I don't know how many.
However many they have. Yeah.
Is she taking away jobs from the other 19 secretaries? See? Or because that one person is able to do that, they can multiply the job now with everything that they offer.
Well, it's all in the same job, basically. So no one's getting a job for those 20 different companies.
You're right.
Since it's all under one thing.
Right. But that's the technology available. Your phone. Can you imagine handling 20 different companies on your cell phone?
No.
No, right? You'd have to, who's calling? What company, right? Their system, because the system's set up, the phone call comes in, says, this is the Murphman from Takes With The Murphman calling about this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, answer the phone. Takes With The Murphman. Right?
Yeah.
So she can get that for 20 different or more. I'm just throwing 20 out there as an even number.
Yeah.
And she can answer calls for all those companies. And that's a force multiplier. Because, you know, you're not going to hire 20 people to do that job if you're only a temporary business that needs a secretary temporarily. Okay. I could hire someone to be a secretary here. They could set a desk right there and run my office for me.
Yeah.
Right? Would they be getting a lot of work? I would just be losing money, right? But if I could hire a virtual program that I pay $30 a month for, $50 a month, that does all that for me, I'd save money as a business owner and I get the job done. It's not AI, it's just technology.
Yeah.
Right?
I get that.
Are people losing their jobs? Yes. Factory workers. They used to literally have a factory assembly line. Put this in the square, next. Put this in the square, next. The next person puts it in the circle. And before you know it, they have built this whole thing. That's an assembly line. Now they have computers and robots doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those people have lost their jobs. Okay. Those people have lost their jobs. But yeah, it's a pivot because people have to learn how to accept technology into their business. And we're going to talk about this later, but the AI stuff that I do, and I know you hate it, but it's a big part of my life, whether you like it or not, right?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, here I am talking about all this stuff, and you're like, I'd rather hear it from someone else. So let's hear the story from the fire. Okay. Raises are recognition, not rewards. And after years as a teacher, Jessica felt unfulfilled. She didn't get a new degree. She started by networking with people in tech on LinkedIn and doing informational interviews. And she eventually moved into a tech field because that was her interest.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Going from teaching to tech is a change. But when you're using technology and you're like, ooh, this is cool, I want to do more of it, then you can do that, right?
Yeah.
So look at that and say, what career is interesting to me if I don't like what I'm doing? And let's talk about this. And then you can actually go into another career choice and do something about it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna talk about it in more detail later. Okay. But as we talk about this stuff, we're going to be able to see my progression in the last year. And I'm going to apply everything we're talking about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to our heat map and we'll talk about how we're doing all of this now. All right. So the map is your actionable steps you can take, right? First one is identify your transferable skills. What are you good at and what can be applied to other fields? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's probably the first step, is understanding what you're able to do and what you're not able to do. Once you do that, then it opens up the career fields for you. If you hate talking to people, are you going to work at a mortuary? No.
And, well, what's that? A funeral home?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't talk to much people.
If you do, they come in the worst moments of their life. Their loved one just died and they got to bury them. You need to have people skills for that job. Right?
I mean, I guess. Okay. I never worked there, so
no,
I don't really know how it is like in the day of one,
Right. And unfortunately, maybe fortunately for you, you were young when we had to experience all that with your grandma and your mom. Dealing with that is not an easy moment. Okay. And you need to have those people skills. You also can build a portfolio and create a project or a piece of content that showcases your skills in your new field. All right. If you are studying cybersecurity and you have a virtual computer, right?
Yeah.
You can set it up and you can practice, right? If you were to actually document that and say, I'm able to solve this kind of problem based on this program, I'm able to solve this and based on this. You start building a portfolio of what you've done already, even though it's all practice stuff, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to be doing technology, you can go look into that as well. What have I learned in this? And the last part is update your resume and LinkedIn profile to tell a story that aligns with your new career choice you want to be. LinkedIn is where everything is right now. Okay. If you go onto LinkedIn and you update your resume, and you have skills people are looking for, they do a search for it, and you have to have the right terminology, right? If you have the right terminology, you'll be able to get those invites to apply for other jobs. Right now, if I type in working with artificial intelligence or working with AI, which one do you think would get me more hits?
Artificial intelligence. Well, AI. Everybody uses AI.
Everyone uses AI.
No one uses the actual term itself.
Right. So I wonder what people would look at and they say, artificial intelligence, who uses that? This boomer doesn't know what he's talking about, right? So you got to use a certain terminology in that field. Now you can say, hey, I want to learn about artificial intelligence, and that's what I'm, have an interest in. That's different, because artificial intelligence is a lot of things. Can be computer programming, can be the assembly line. AI is a little different than that, even though it's artificial intelligence. But the way you use it, sort of guides where you're headed. So you got to be careful if you're using artificial intelligence or whatever, this word or that word. You just want to be careful with all of that. Okay. But I'll tell you what, let's go take another break. And when we come back, we'll discuss this in a lot more detail. And we'll talk about the things where you're going to get burned, meaning those pitfalls you got to avoid, and the ways you can avoid them by the heat shields. We'll be right back.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murphman will return after these messages.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.u.
We're back, and gotta tell you, that is what you just listened to was Fly Above Fire, Be Myself. What do you think of that song, Connor?
I liked it. It was something different that we don't usually get at all.
Right?
Yeah. We get like slow type of music, just like relaxing, you know. But that was actually like, I don't know, more
energetic.
Yeah.
I think we can definitely play some different stuff here every now and then. That's one of the songs we're going to be playing differently. So I think by doing that, we'll be able to. But check out, Fly Above Fire. We'll listen to it when we go out today, when we go eat.
Yeah.
We can listen to it in the car and see what we think about it. All right.
All right.
All right. So let's talk about the next segment that we have. We've talked about the heat map, which is those steps that you can take. Now let's talk about where those pitfalls are and those places you'll. Pitfalls that everyone actually has. Okay. One, thinking you need to go back to school. No, you don't. Back in my day, right? Yeah, it was like you go to college and get the job. You go to college, you get the job. You go to trade school, get the job. But now it's like, if you know someone who's a plumber, you go to that person and say, hey, I'd like to be a plumber. They take you under their wing and they actually teach you everything there is to know about plumbing. And it's called a journeyman, and then eventually becomes a plumber and you get certified. You don't have to go to trade school for that, but it takes work to go work for a plumber, right?
Yeah.
Computer skills. What school have I gone to learn computer skills, Connor?
UTEP, I would think.
Okay, let me back up a little bit. Have I gone to school to get educated about computers? No. I've taken one class, taught me how to use Microsoft Office. And after that, it's all self-taught. I'm all self-taught, right? And Monday, we're going to start my cybersecurity certifications. So
Monday.
Yeah. We're going to start working on that together. You're going to help me get my certification. Why do I want to get that?
I don't know.
Why not?
Okay.
It's just something I want to try. Like we talked about, you never know what skills you need, right? Just try different things. All right. Also, you need to know why you're having that pivot. Why are you trying to change careers at this time? What's your motivation behind it? Okay. When you think about everything I've done, I can tell you why I've had all the different changes. Can we agree with that? Yeah, I've never gone to a point in my life where I'm like, I don't know. Well, maybe just me going into teaching, yeah, okay, I'll try it. But I always had a reason for all my pivots, every single reason I've ever had. And of course, you don't want to ignore your network. You want to go out there, you want to talk to people, you want to talk to those people that actually are doing the jobs and network and talk about all that with them. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because once you start talking to people in that job, you get a better idea of everything. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So those are the places you're going to get burned. Thinking you need to go back to school, not knowing why you're changing careers or transitioning, and not talking to the people in the network. Now, can you have a career pivot against your will? Like you get fired or the company closes its doors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It happens, right? So there are things like that make you change your career choices. And at the same time, opportunities open based on those networks, and they open up new opportunities for you. Okay. And again, we're going to talk about all this when we get to the Digital Inferno. We can talk about everything that I've done. Okay.
Yeah.
But now let's talk about those things that can prevent you from getting burned, called heat shields. All right, the heat shields. You don't have to go at this alone. Okay, you're not alone. Okay. Some resources. Well, the prep is the protection. Your pivot, your heat shield, is your transferable skills story. And the bigger heat source when pivoting is the perception that you have to start from scratch. All right. Deploy the shield by clearly documenting the communicating on how your existing skills, communication, project management, analysis, whatever it happens to be, can translate directly into the new role. Okay, that's what you have to tell people. How can you do what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
What have you done that says you can even come work for me and do this? You have no education. But I have transferable skills. Okay. That narrative deflects the doubt from recruiters. And I'll give you an example of that. My friend who just got her job change, recruiters were calling her all the time for a job. And they said, we want to give you a job where you can travel doing your job. But when was the last time you had adult interaction as patients? And she says, I haven't done that in like over a year. And they're like, before you can come work for us, you need to get that experience. Right? Now, she says, I used to. Right? Yeah, I have previous experience, but do I have the skills right now I need to work with them today? Maybe not. I got to get some refresher skills, right? So look at that and know that your experiences are valuable regardless of the industry that you're in, because those transferable skills will get you through almost anything you could think of, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So as we talk about this, I'm going to ask you some questions now, Connor. They're called it's the section called the afterburn, where we talk about those questions that we ask ourselves to reflect on what we've thought about today. So I want you to really think about these before we answer them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here. All right. First question. What is the one industry or role you are curious about? Is there anything you're curious about?
Not really. I guess mechanical, how things were made.
Okay, how things work and everything. All right.
Yeah.
The next question is, who are 3 people in that industry you can connect with this week?
Oh, no one. I don't know any people in mechanical engineering.
Right. And then what skill can you learn right now that makes you more marketable?
One skill that makes you more marketable, social, I guess.
Okay.
I'm very social.
Oh, what was that?
Sorry. It got the tip of my tongue. I just couldn't say anything. But
for those of you who are listening online right now, I heard that in my headphones and it just I was like, what the hell?
I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. But yeah, me being social is one of my better skills I could do.
Okay. So those are things you have to ask yourself. What am I curious about learning? Who do I know that's doing it? And what can I do to make myself more marketable? Very simple. Okay. I have so many things I want to talk about this next hour that's coming up, because I've had so much happen in this last year and I want to talk about that in more detail. I know you're tired of hearing it, Okay. Our listeners have not heard it, and that's who I'm here for, not them, not you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So I'll tell you what, let's take one quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the Digital Inferno and all the career choices that I've gone through. All right. We'll be right back.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murphman will return.
Sorry, technical difficulties.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murphman will return after these messages. It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murphman will return after these messages.
Down Lincoln again, droplets form against the windows, early morning light and shadows bend to colors, reaching for the lenses in my eyes which take them, turn them upside down, and though I do not know quite how, they will be turned right back around and spit back out. Conduits and cabling which disassemble them, processing from noise and light still springs in static motion and information. I suddenly see that the reason is everywhere around us, is everywhere around us. Bus stop standing on the corner, passengers are waiting, and I sit in silence, half asleep, and I wonder what they each are thinking. Woman with off-white woolen cap, the young man staring at the sidewalk where the tip of her umbrella touches to the ground. And the distance between strangers can sometimes be quite alarming, but today the bus comes to carry us together into the morning. I suddenly see that the reason is everywhere around us, is everywhere around us. And I suddenly see that the reason is everywhere around us, is everywhere around us. Down Lincoln again, droplets form against the windows, early morning light and shadows bend to colors, reaching for the lenses in my eyes which take them, turn them upside down, and though I do not know quite how, they will be turned right back around, spit back out, conduits and cabling which disassemble them, processing from noise and light still frames in static motion and information. Suddenly see that the reason is everywhere around us, is everywhere around us. And I suddenly see that the reason is everywhere around us, is everywhere around us.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.us.
Second new song by Chemistry Club, Blended Colors. What did you think of that one, Connor?
I don't think we've ever heard that one, have we, Murphman?
We used to play it when we first started.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I started hearing different songs, and I really like those songs. Like, I really, like Adios Amigo by David Alexander, right? Yeah, it's just...
That's a good song also, yeah.
The world's longest sniper shot. I said I'm going to change it up because we're going through so many changes here. And that's what I want to talk about this second half of the show today. Because I think everything going on with me, and I say me and us, a little bit of you, okay, but is so strange. Because anyone who knows me knows that I have always loved the spotlight. Right?
Yeah.
Back in 2007, I was teaching a class, and one of my students tells me, "Hey, Mr. Murphy, why don't you consider doing comedy?" And I'm like, "Shut up." And he was like, "No, really, like, I think you'd be good at it." And a few other people in the class agreed. And I said, "Okay." Our class ends July 2nd. July 5th, I think, or 7th, whatever day it was. There was an open mic night at the comic strip, and I said, "I'll do it. I need y'all there." And I went up there, and I think I would say I killed it. I was like really amazing that night, my first night. For a first night, God, it was not nervous. I had fun and everything, right?
Yeah.
And I did comedy for 4 years, maybe after that. And then I started getting away from that. I had other stuff in my life. Your mom got sick, and it was really weird to go do comedy, because everything going on in our lives, right? And I gave up the comedy portion. Now, I still love being the limelight. I still love the attention and everything. I love talking. I do presentations. I do shows. I do hosting things. I'm not embarrassed easily. I get nervous, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it comes very natural to me. And June of last year, Connor was graduating, and I said, I want to consider doing a podcast. And I remember when I first told you this, right? You're like, yeah, whatever. And I said, no, like, I want to. And I didn't know why. Remember we talked about we've been talking about, if you're going to do a career pivot, you better know why.
Yeah.
I said, because I've been teaching for so long, I said, I miss counseling, but I don't want to do counseling. I have all this knowledge about getting people through college. Whether they take the advice or not, that's on them. I have the knowledge.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to start a podcast. And I started off with a little kit, little V10. It's about this big. And I didn't like it. So I went up to the mono podcaster, and we used that one for a while. And then I said, we're going to move into a bigger studio and add more people. I bought a better mixer. And we haven't really had any guests, okay? Because what ended up happening, let's talk about the timeline here. In June, I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And I said, how do you even do a podcast? I didn't know how easy it was or how hard it was. In reality, it's get your phone, turn it on, put it on TikTok, and hey, I'm a podcaster now. That's what I'm doing right now, right here. But that's not how it works if you want to be good at it. You don't just show up and talk. There's a lot of prep that goes into the show. Can we agree on that one?
Yeah.
There's like an entire script that you have to write. And we have to know what we're going to talk about. We have to prepare the slides and, all that stuff. But I said, how do I start a podcast? So then I reached out to this program for veterans because, well, no, let me back up a little bit. first thing was, where do I do the podcast? Because I know where to do it. And we went to the library. And looking back on that now, we could have stayed working at the library. The Echo was actually the microphone setup we had. We could have been working there and never done anything else besides the library.
I guess, but we have to carry more stuff.
Oh, well, yeah.
Than what we had.
A whole crate of stuff. Yes, I agree with that. It wasn't
all
really,
just for 2 hours.
It's not really portable, right? So we ended up using our friend's room, and now we're here at the house. Okay, but I still didn't know how to do a podcast, so I was like, maybe there's places that will help veterans. And I reached out to this program called Military Broadcasting Radio, MBR, and I met this guy Joel H. Train Hunt. Call him H Train, and he has this program that gives veterans a voice. And you see in the commercials of the MBR stuff and everything, right? So I get with this guy the first time, and I actually call him up, and we're talking, and well, actually I didn't call him up. I had to sign up for a link online and went on my phone, and I'm sitting at Sonic talking to him, and he's like, yeah, we can definitely help you out. We'll give you the program, we'll give you the software that you need, we'll give you the training, we'll give you the editing tools, we'll give you all of that. I was like, give?
As in, like, I keep it?
It's like $70 a month. That's that's a lot of money. So because it's the summertime, I started working with him, and I was ready to start the show. And do you remember the date of our first episode? I'm just curious if you remember.
No.
August 4th. Within 2 months, I had the show ready to go. Now, was it a perfect show? Hell no.
No.
All right.
How long do you think it took us to get to a perfect show?
We still don't have a perfect show. I don't think we'll ever be perfect. To get comfortable doing what we're doing, yeah, we're already there.
Okay. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
When I say that, I don't mean like a 10 out of 10, like, oh yeah, viral famous podcast. I just mean like where we didn't make any mistakes. And
we've had a couple of episodes where we didn't make mistakes, and we've had a couple of episodes where there's always a mistake. Like right now, I was going back and forth between that one episode. My finger was too fat to be pressing it, right?
Even though I'm right here and I can do it.
Well, yeah, but you didn't know what I was pressing.
Well, after like the second try, I was like, oh,
okay, yeah. But the point being is, we still make mistakes. We're not perfect.
No one's perfect. Yeah.
Well, in the time that I was working with MBR, I was scrolling TikTok or Facebook Reels or Instagram, I don't know where, and I come across this thing called stream915.com. And it says, El Paso content creators, come and host your content on our platform. And I said, what's that? Right? And I went in and I typed in my information, and this was in July. I got no calls, no nothing. I decided to go to our friend's house, her studio, and I forgot all about stream915.com. In the meantime, I was talking to Joel on a regular basis, and all of a sudden, this guy calls me one day. We're driving home, right? And he tells me, hey, I'm Tony P from stream915.com, and I'm like, okay, right? And I got excited.
Yeah.
And he starts talking about what he can do and everything. And I was like, okay. So then we ended up meeting at McDonald's, and we signed a contract and whatever. But he asked me, how comfortable are you in front of the camera? I said, pretty comfortable. He goes, how's your interviewing skills? I said, pretty good. So he's like, all right. So first event we did was Borderland Roller Derby. And he's like, here, go interview the roller derby chicks. I'm like, hell yeah, I can do this. And it was supposed to go for 15 minutes. I went for 7. And I'm like, he's like, I thought you could do it. I'm not used to it. I'm good at it. I can do it. Well, after the show was over and everything, I asked him, I said, am I doing better than you expected? The same as you expected, or worse than you expected? Or I should say the other way around. I went worse, better, worse, same, or better. And he goes, oh, a lot better than I expected. And he's like, would you want to come in and do more interviews with me? Hell yeah, let's do it. So I started this thing with stream915.com. That's where you can actually catch all our premiere content and everything that we have, right? But I started working with him, doing events, doing art markets, building my interview skills. While I'm doing that, MBR starts asking for help with AI and asking me if I could help with animations. Because our little segments that I did, right? Those were my first ones I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is actually pretty cool. I want to get better at it. So the guy's like, oh, I know a little bit about it. Let me see what we can do. And we started making cartoons. And we made going to the VA to pick up your DD-214. We made a Christmas cartoon. We made an what's the name of the wrestling? I forgot the name of the wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah. It's in Denver. Oh my God. I'm not going to look it up right now. But I did a wrestling promo, right? And we started working on this cartoon. And between stream915.com and MBR Radio and Hot Takes with the Murphman, my plans were full. I had no time. Come December, I said, okay, I'm getting used to doing all this stuff. I want to start my own business. I want to start consulting, take my podcast to IRL, right? And I was setting it up when in January's meeting, Tony P announces we're opening a studio at the mall. And I'm like, couldn't you have done that 2 weeks earlier? Because I just spent thousands of dollars on everything, right? And so he opened up at the mall, and I said, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to open up and do a Vibes in 915 podcast on Sunday nights from 4 to 6. And I want to be a DJ too. So I'm going to have a radio show, the 915 Mix, every Wednesday at 6 to 8. Right? And I've been doing it for 3 months now. Pretty cool. In that time, I took over a Spanish class in February. And it consumed my time, and I could not work on animations with MBR. This past mid-May, I started working on it again, to get it done.
Mid-May, yeah, like the 18th, probably.
Yeah, maybe. And I was able to finish up that video. And Monday, I'm actually going to have it debuted, Connor, on I want to make sure I get her name right. Lean Into Legacy is her name of a podcast. So you can check us out on mbrradio.us. Check out Lean Into Legacy with JJ. And it'll be at 5 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock Eastern. And you'll get to see the premiere of All Dogs Deserve Dads. But right now, I want to play a trailer for you real quick, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about.
Well, gather round now, young and old. I've got a little story that ought to be told about friends and family, laughter and tears, and lessons we've learned through the years. Sitting here rocking with straw on my beat, got wisdom to share if you listen this week. So pull up a chair and stay for a spell. We're heading down a trail where good stories dwell. It started one day in a little pet store. Dad opened up a brand new door with yellow hair shining in the summer sun. A promise was made and a journey begun. Now Beaker Pop stands with a beard of gray, still guiding the family every day. A steady hand and a loving heart, the foundation that gave this story its start. All dogs deserve dads, someone to help them grow, a friend to walk beside them, no matter where they go. Through every high and every low, together on life's path. That's the heart behind our story. All dogs deserve dads. Here comes Beaker walking down the trail, red polo shining in the morning pale, green mohawk standing proud and tall, helping friends answer life's call. Headphones ready, stories to share, giving folks a voice because he cares. Through every challenge he finds a way, bringing hope to another day. Then a puppy appeared in a cardboard box, big floppy ears and a heart like a rock. Baird was loyal from the very first day, never once leaving Beaker's way. No bear spirit watches from above, floating on clouds with endless love. Halo shining and wings spread wide, still straight. All dogs deserve that. Someone
Welcome to the show, crew.
Let's do this, Marley. Let's
Because all dogs deserve dad.
That was Stitch. That's what they call her. I think it's his granddaughter or something.
Oh.
And she actually voices one of the characters. And the hillbilly drawer at the beginning of the movie that is a narrator is actually voiced by Brandon Stokely of the Denver Broncos. So on Monday, we're going to debut the entire cartoon. It's about a 17 or 18-minute cartoon. If you want to check that out, check out mbradio.us and check out the talk schedule and go to JJ's Lean Into Legacy show. And I will be there debuting this. And why do I talk about this? Well, in this last month and a half, aside from the animations I've been doing and doing also with Stream 915, we got hired to do a logo for an event that he had. And I did the animations for it. And they loved my logo. Then we had a museum appearance where we went to the Steam Museum here in El Paso, La Nube. And I did 25 videos for them. Actual animations of their activities. And I made a video of how El Paso was created in the flood and everything. You know, just... My animation skills have gotten so much better. So much better. And I want to go back and do the original videos all over again. And Joe's like, no, I like the fact that it shows us growing. And he wants to do what he calls adaptive animation, where we help veterans through telling stories. So the next one that we're going to show is actually going to be a story about Beaker. By the way, Beaker is Lil Duck. If you saw him right there. And he's the main character in the stories that we have. And Beaker, it tells a story about when he was in the military. He did football, joined the military, got injured, got out, ended up going to the Paralympics and becoming a competition on the world level, and eventually decided not to do that anymore. So our next video is probably going to be 30 to 40 minutes.
Damn.
And why is that so hard? Because let me tell you a little bit of AI. For those of you who don't know, AI is about prompting. You have to prompt what you want it to do. And I'll give you an example. I mentioned the character's name is Beaker. Connor loves this one. I typed in, Beaker says this. And I got the Beaker from the Muppets. I was like, what the hell? Like, Beaker wasn't even, like, I actually gave you an image of what I wanted you to use, and AI just has hallucinations and just does its own thing. That's what it's called, hallucinations. I had another one with Gamer. He's the one with the green mohawk and playing video games. I said, create this guy playing games in his garage. They call it the Garage Crew, right? So I said, okay, no, I don't need all these other characters. I want him by himself. Next thing, he's floating in air by himself, right? I'm like, no, I want him, everything the same, just take out the other characters. And it gives me a great a great image. I said, okay, now I want to animate him playing video games. And then I got this angry duck. Do you remember that weird looking duck? It was like, whatever. But that's not what I want. I said, and I gave it a picture of a Gamer again. I said, here. And then it gave me the character playing, but the TV screen was facing out. And I said, no, you need to turn the TV around and face it toward him. You show the back of the TV. Yeah, you would think that the computer knows what the back of a TV is, but it didn't turn it around. And I said, pay attention. Turn the monitor /TV/ where he's playing the video game. Turn it around and face the other direction. And what does the AI do, Connor?
It flips him.
It flips the
literally
character.
He's facing into the chair. It's so hilarious.
His legs are still out here, but he's facing the chair playing this video game. And I'm like, okay, that's not what I wanted. Eventually, you know. So when you're doing AI prompting and everything, you have to do this. Now, the thing is, there's long videos that you can pay a lot of money for. And when you have a character, it's hard to have that animated because you have to do it little by little. And to do a long video, the system cannot update it the way you want it to.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, when I was doing the Beaker Goes to the VA video, I wanted a picture of them or a video of them walking into the parking lot. And I asked AI, I said, here's the character front side. Show me what he would look like from the back. And if you look, Beaker has braids, right? They showed him from the back and he had all these dreadlocks. That's how the AI imagined it. I said, okay, no, hold on. Let's tweak it a little bit here and there. So again, the prompting, as I've gotten better at it, I've learned how to prompt better. Even now, I still have some issues. Because when I use the word Beaker, it gives me the Beaker from the Muppets.
Are they spelled the same? Or yeah, that's why. I was thinking Beaker as in like
science Beaker.
Yeah.
No. And
that would have been funny.
It is. But now that I've gotten so much better at it, and I've been going at it almost a year, and I gotta say I took 3 or 4 months off because I had no time to do anything. I've learned how to do this a lot better. And you saw the video, lip syncing still off, but that video, 1 minute and 43 seconds, is made up of clips that I recorded that were 8 seconds long. And I could only use a couple seconds of each video. So when you have 103-second video,
yeah,
okay, that's not a 12 or 13 video. It's more like 45 to just get those images.
God.
And I don't know if you know this or not, but if you look at it, there's actually layered video on top of video.
Where?
In the preview. You
where?
can't notice it, right?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Where?
Because I did things like that. And if you look, there's a scene where the dog comes out of the box and it's over the image of MBR.
No, yeah.
There's also one of the dog in the box in the living room. The living room is the video. The dog in the box is the video.
Yeah.
And I was able to combine those. You know.
No wonder. Okay. It looked a little goofy. That's why.
I'm not a professional, bro. I'm still learning here. But yeah, I agree with you. I tried changing it a couple times. And the thing with AI is you can't get it to repeat itself. So I said, do it over. It was really hard. Because remember, we talked about I can only use so many seconds of a clip. So if it gives me a different character looking dog, I can use it. And the AI will do that. So now with this new cartoon, I have a new program, paying a little more money for it. It tells you get a picture from the front, from 45-degree angle, 45-degree angle, and from the back. So I actually have to generate 4 images or more per character that I want to have. And I think I have 20 characters in this new cartoon. Okay.
That's a lot.
It is.
You only had like what? 4 in this one?
Yeah. Well,
the dog,
the 2 dogs, the dad, and Beaker Gamer and DJ Ducky. So 6. Oh, and Hillbilly Drawer. 7. So I'm making these videos and I'm doing this, and I've bought some equipment.
Some.
I told you guys I'm upgrading my studio, okay? And I know you guys can't really see too much of it, but you know, there's different tiles on the wall now. We have different colors. You can see them. You know, it's not all black like it was. And as I started doing this using AI, Connor hates I do this. I have a conversation with Gemini, and I could do it when I'm going to bed, or I can do it while I'm driving. I'll say, hey, Gemini, I want to do this. Can you help me do this? And it says, sure, Sean, what do you want to do? Right? And I said, okay, here's my list of equipment that I have. I said, and when you do AI, you have to keep it on the same chat. So I said, keep this and be aware of this list when I talk about my equipment. If I say my microphone, it's this kind of microphone. If I talk about my mixer, it's this kind of mixer. So, okay. What could I do to upgrade this? And it started giving me ideas. And I'm in the process of moving my internet into the room here where I'll be able to connect my computer, which I bought a new computer, into my new mixer, into the program that I'm going to buy, into the new thing where we can actually get more camera angles and everything, right? And it's going to give me an opportunity to do a lot more than what we're doing right now. And in the process of this, I was like, God, I'm spending a lot of money on this. I need to get a tax deduction. But guess what? Tax deductions don't work on hobbies.
Wow.
So you have to start a business. Get an LLC. So I started researching that. And I came up with my companies. I say companies because you can have one parent company and have a lot of DBAs, meaning doing business as for that parent company. So like I could be Walmart and I'm Sean Murphy doing business as Walmart. Okay. You know, doing business as Sam's, you know. So there's LLCs that you have and they're parent companies. And then anything under that is all tied together. So I have 7 branches, or 6, I should say, 6 or 7. One of them is my Aztec Animations, which is my animation company. Then I have my Porter Studios, which is the studios we're in right. I have my Phoenix Post House, which is my production. I have my Hot Takes with the Murphman, which is my podcast. Then my consulting firm is Borderland Strategies, right?
Yeah.
And that, I was like, okay, that covers everything I'm doing right now. And I can get my LLCs. As a Texas veteran, by the way, if you're a Texas vet, you get your LLC franchise fees and all of that free of charge. Okay. So if you're interested in doing that, reach out to us. You can reach out to me at Murphman at purehottakes.com and email us, and I'd be happy to give you more information on that. Or go check out your small business development centers or SBAs around town, wherever you're at. But I'm going to form the companies as LLCs instead of DBAs because LLCs are protected. DBAs are not. So like if one gets sued, they protect it from each other. There's all these little loopholes of taxes and I'm not a lawyer or a CPA. I'm still learning how to do all this. But I am able to create this company. And at the same time with stream915.com, they're like, hey, let's go out and do events. Let's work with this party hall. And I said, well, what does the party hall want to do? They're like, well, he wants to do comedy shows, trivia, and bingo. And I'm like, oh, I used to do that. And he's like, I know. I told the owner, and the owner's like, let's get together and let's do it. So I said, okay, so now I have to add trivia, bingo, and DJ into this whole thing. But it doesn't really fit into anything. So I have to create another company called Borderland Entertainment. I'm going to have Badlands Trivia and Blazing Bingo, right? And by doing this, I started another portion of my career where I'm going to start owning my own trivia program, my own bingo program, DJ and hosting parties, and karaoke. So I'm waiting for my LLCs to form so I can buy my equipment under the new umbrella. And I have so much going on, but I'm loving it because of everything that's been happening over the last year has been so interesting. Because a year ago, I had zero experience with AI. Some experience hosting, some experience comedy. But now I'm opening my LLCs and I'm becoming a businessman. And hopefully my consulting can take off as well. But right now I'm going to focus a little bit more on the trivia and the bingo because that's easy money and quick money.
Yeah.
You know, and that is one of those things that I am going to be doing because it's something I want to do. And as you think about careers and everything, think about that, and when we come back, I'll tell you a little bit more about where this is going. Okay, so I have one more song for you before we go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murphman will return after these messages.
Bar stools, cigarette smoke, where the dive bar bands playing all the wrong notes. Them dollar bills still hanging on the wall. This ain't no place for her kind at all. She had them red bottoms on in this blue collar town. There's only two reasons why girls like her come around. She either took a wrong turn back in Austin, or she's looking for love cause she lost it. We were two flames burning, red wine and bourbon, leaning on each other for a little southern comfort, just trying to set the mood right under the neon moonlight. She was chasing that freedom, love a man, leave him, trying to make her mine by the end of the night. I'm a good line away from her number, trying to keep her from being this summer. Sunsets and sunrise nights have never been my thing. Hell, they might just be what I need after all. Hell, you can't find love till you fall. She ain't used to red dirt roads, but for what it's worth, feel like home in the middle of the soul bench seat. Every song brings it closer to me. We were two flames burning, red wine and bourbon, leaning on each other for a little southern comfort, just trying to set the mood right under the neon moonlight. She was chasing that freedom, love a man, leave him, trying to make her mine by the end of the night. I'm a good line away from her number, trying to keep her from being single this summer. We were two flames burning, red wine and bourbon, leaning on each other for a little southern comfort, just trying to set the moon right under the neon moonlights. She was chasing that freedom, love a man, leave him, trying to make her mine by the end of the night. I'm a good line away from her number, trying to keep her from being single this summer. Single this summer.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.u.
At Oakley with Single This Summer. I love the fact that I'm going to stop her from being single this summer. I love that. It was a cool song. It's country. It is what it is. I like it. Suck it. Anyway.
Okay.
Going back to all this, like I said, as I've discussed my career, my chances, my forward momentum and everything, I have not stopped doing my regular life. I'm still a dad. I'm still a teacher. I'm still a professor at the college. You know, I'm in relationship. I have friends. I have everything. And I'm throwing else on top of it. Am I doing too much?
Yeah, a little bit.
And a year ago, when I spent hours at my desk and obsessed about this podcast, and you said you're doing too much, I said, because I know where it's going to go. I didn't think it was going to go this far. Let me make that very clear. But I told you then, it's going to go somewhere. Something's going to happen with this.
You did tell me something like that, yeah.
And now I'm not obsessing as much as I was. I'm working on creating a business. When you create a business, it takes some business. It takes some time. You can't just walk in and say, I want to start a business. There's permits and licenses and everything you have to get. Mm-hmm. And so I am spending a lot of time prepping, doing stuff, preparing, obsessing to some extent, but not as much as I could. And you know, my boss at work was like, are you going to leave us? I said, oh, no, I'm going to be here for forever, for at least 5-6 more years so I can retire. And then when I retire, be like, okay, I'm done. Right? But I can keep working doing this. And hopefully the trivia night, the bingo night, and all that kind of stuff that I do, I can keep doing because those are fun. They're a lot of fun, setting up the bingo and the trivia. And I have a whole method of doing this. It's not just going to be like, all right, let's do questions, you know. And I've told you about this. I'm going to do the shootout, 15 seconds or 20 seconds per question, multiple choice. Knock that out quick, 3 minutes, done. Right? Oh, yeah. 5 minutes and be done with it. Then I'm going to have the fill in the blanks. Then I'm going to have the drag and drop. And then I'm going to have the survival mode, where if you get one wrong in the round, you're eliminated. And if anyone finishes out, they get a prize if they actually go to the 15th round and not lose anything. If there's a tie, you know, it's the Western theme, right? Badlands trivia. We have a deck draw where you have to go through a deck and you have to pull out high card, you know. So everyone's going to have their own deck, and it's going to be shuffled randomly, and they're all going to pick a card and see who wins. So it's a very interactive game. Same thing with bingo. I have that as well. And if I start hosting DJ parties, I'm not a DJ, make this very clear, but I have Spotify and people can say, this is the kind of music I want to play. And okay, I'll make you a playlist. Done. Right? When I was, what's it called? An announcer through football games, I had my playlist of line dances.
Yeah, I remember.
Right? The cheerleaders loved that. Yeah.
Some songs.
Oh, yeah. But I'm saying I played songs that they wanted me to play. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So when I played their songs, they're like,
well,
they would go out and do line dances and it was fun. So I said, okay, I can do this. I can be a DJ. And now somehow karaoke came into the picture. And I'm like, I can't sing, but people do. And I said, that's a perfect component to add to my whole umbrella business. Right?
Yeah.
And I ordered my business cards this morning for all my companies. Well, let me rephrase that. I haven't actually pushed order yet because I want to make sure my companies all are formed before I start doing it, you know. But with the Richards I've already done, that should be good. And the thing is, all of this and my studio upgrade, which, by the way, talking to Gemini, I asked it, how good is my home studio? And they said, or I say they, like it's different people, or it's different voices in Gemini. But Gemini says that I'm in the top 5% of home studios now.
Because it's not that much home studios.
Well,
also,
there's a lot of podcasts that have them in home studios. And they just sit on their couch in the living room, and that's all they do. Way around that. We have acoustic tiling. We have internet, computer, we're spending thousands of dollars. Trust me, it's more than an average home studio. And as we're doing all this, I have this guy over here next to me that's like, this doesn't involve me, right? I said, no, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with you. And I said, if I ever start a charity, that's another down the road thing. I said, hopefully you can keep running the charity when I'm gone. Because doing that is something that is, again, we go back to helping people that have always helped. So I want to be able to do scholarships and stuff like that. And so I'm going to ask you, I haven't asked you this, right? But what should our scholarship be called?
Don't ask me about names.
The Borderland Scholarship?
No.
No? Should it be for media people? Should it be
I would think
for
so.
psychology people? Should it be for education people? Or just a general everybody? There's a lot of things I want to do. And the point I'm making is, don't limit yourself to say, I cannot do this or that, because I'm telling you right now, not just you, our listeners, everyone can do this. Everyone can go out and do this with them, with the right planning and everything. So if you're interested in doing something like that, go reach out to your small business development centers, small business associations, make a plan on what you want to do. Hell, get AI and start asking it, what can I do? So, and let me tell you how this works too. This is if I win the lottery, okay? I asked AI, what is something that I could do at the mall or have my own business? I have several business plans that I've actually wanted. I just don't have the money for them. But this one was a video mapping program where I would be able to set it up in a way like laser tag, but it's actually shooting things on the wall. And I can change it up every time. I can make it kids games. I can make it a penguin throwing snowballs, right? And to set up the whole studio with all the walls that are sensitive to the targets and whatnot, what do you think the startup cost for that would be?
Couple $1,000 probably.
Couple thousand
for a whole setup? Yeah.
Give me a number. You say a couple thousand. You're talking about $2,000?
I'm talking about like 20.
20? 20? That doesn't even cover one of the weapons.
Oh.
Think high. Think high.
Like what? 580?
No. I said high.
That is high.
That's not high. I looked into it.
Oh, how much?
1.5 to 2 million. To start something like a Dave & Buster's or something like that is expensive. But to do the technology that I want to have, some of it has to be created. And there's companies that can do it. It's not like it's that hard. But there's companies out there that can do it. But to buy the equipment, the licensing, everything, you need about $2 million. And one of the problems I have is I don't have any experience in business. So they're not going to let me start that until I have a business. So I can start smaller and work my way up. But imagine having a airsoft range. We saw that in San Antonio, remember?
Yeah.
How stupid is that? 4 airsoft guns, and you shoot at cans or whatever targets they have, and they give you stupid little prizes, right?
Yeah.
There's a carnival game at the mall. That's all it was. That's all it was. And I was like, that's such a simple business plan. But I don't do simple.
I see that.
But yeah, it's to do what I want to do. It's 1.5 to 2 million to do it right, to get the space, because it's like a $10,000 a month rent minimum. So there's things like that you have to do. Your insurance, you have to get the supplies. There's, if I win the lottery, I'll have the money for that, right? But I would actually pay rent a year in advance and pay for all my equipment. You could lease it, which is probably the smarter thing to do financially. But I would pay for everything. So for at least a year, I'd have my business. And at the end of the year, I'd close down if I didn't make any money, which I doubt. I think since I do the lot plan, I think I'll succeed. But Yeah, $1.5 to $2 million. So if there's someone out there right now that wants to start this and is interested in sponsoring this with me and being an angel investor.
Angel investor? Sorry.
That's what they're called.
What's that?
Angel investor is the people that come in and they're like, here's the money. I'm watching it for the cartel. Go do a business. I don't know where the money comes from, right?
Okay.
But there's people that have money and they make it work for them. Like, for example, I wanted to go buy a house. There's groups of people that buy houses. You've heard this on, you haven't heard about it?
The government?
No. That's why prices are so inflated, because you have all these companies buying all the small properties, fixing them up and trying to sell them at a higher rate. And it's all become for profit. So there's hardly homeowners now. They're all owned by businesses and everything.
Yeah, I saw that.
Our old house is owned by a company that's renting. We passed by yesterday at our old house. They
changed it up.
They changed it up big time.
A lot.
Took out the grass, put in cement. They're putting
replacing with turf. They had an awning. They changed the color of the house from brick to gray.
Yeah, what blue? It was like a little light gray blue.
It was like blue grayish now.
Anyway,
I don't even know. It just looks weird.
It does.
I don't like it.
Neither do I. But there's things like that people are investing in. And as we've talked about this podcast, it's been, what do you do to get through college? Now we're moving on to becoming an adult, finances, starting businesses, and everything of that nature. Okay. So it's a lot more detailed on things we're going to be talking about now. And I'll share my journey with you going through this. I will share my information with you. I will continue to do everything we're doing here. And if you're interested in any of this, you can reach out to us at murphman@purehottakes.com and definitely do that. You can also call us at 915-201-0887. And you can call us and be happy to talk to you about all that stuff if you're interested. Now, one more thing is I want to remind everybody, on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll be on the Lean Into Legacy with JJ. She's going to be interviewing me. Now, what's funny, I don't know if she's listening. And if you guys with MBR are listening, don't tell her. But we sent her a preview of the movie, right? And she's like, you have to have a whole box of tissues ready for this movie. Right? And I've added more stuff since she saw it. So I want to see her reaction too, But yeah, it's a cartoon that I'm very proud of, and my businesses that I'm starting, and y'all can come along on this journey with me on how I'm doing everything that I'm doing,
Yeah.
But before we wrap the show, I want to take one more break, and then we will come back and finish up. So y'all, see you in a little bit.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murphman will return after these messages.
Still see the spray painted stop sign when I roll down 79. The drag marks behind that mini mart ain't faded after all this time. Every man fly from Georgia to California's got a boy with a rebel heart. Stories in every small town scar that by a good old boy taking it way too far. Somebody had to drink too much and crank Hank way too loud. Somebody had to always stand up to the guy with a tendency to run his mouth. The straight pipe Chevy had to run these streets like Bo and Luke in the General Lee. Yeah, somebody had to, and that somebody was me. There's still ruts on Ridge Hill Road, and muddy cans we tossed out the window. String bikini on a limb by a swimming hole. That's a story that'll never be told. Cigarette butt
get a 4.0, full ride, whole life planned out on track. Somebody had to make a touchdown pass, Wednesday front page, name written in black. But somebody had to drink too much and crank Hank way too loud. Somebody had to always stand up to the guy with a tendency to run his mouth. The straight pipe Chevy had to run these streets like Bo and Luke in the General League. Yeah, somebody had to, and that somebody was me. That somebody was me.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.u.
Back. That was Dawson Edwards and somebody had to. Somebody had to. And you know, Connor was like, I'm not really a big fan of country. And I said, I don't care. I am, right? But
well,
if you guys like the songs and you prefer country or you prefer rock, you prefer different kind of stuff, send me a message at murphman@purehottakes.com and I'd be happy to talk to you about it. But before we end the show, I want to go over our final burn of the day. So stay tuned. A step towards change, towards a future. It's not a failure. It's a path to success. You know, you have to do something and to change your life and know your destination and let your skills guide the way. And once you do that, you'll see you're able to have the experiences you need to be able to do something.
Yeah.
You know, but I want to thank y'all for listening today. I am the Murphman. That you've been listening to Hot Takes with the Murphman here on MBR Radio. MB Radio.us. I always
say MBR Radio.
Yeah, it's because I call it MBR. It's MBR Radio.
Yeah.
Right.
MBR Radio.us.
Yeah, check out mbradio.us and you can check out all the schedules we have here and all the things going on. We got a lot of really good shows and we're growing every day. And you can find us on Roku also.
Yeah, on the Roku channel.
Yeah.
Or is it just
Roku app?
Roku app, yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool though, right?
I like that.
You know, when friends come over and they're like, how's your podcast going? I can go check it out.
Right there.
You're on TV. Yes, I am. And, you know, you can go to stream915.com. Also check out all our premium content and all our behind the scenes footage and all our interviews and things that we do with them. You're welcome to check that out. And Connor, I think that's it for today. What do you think?
I think so too, my friend.
You know, see y'all next week and we will see you. Hopefully you'll be back and we can talk to you some more. You take care. Bye-bye.
That's a wrap on this episode. If you're looking for more, you can find all the best clips from the show on our social media pages. For all the links and more information about what we talked about today, visit purehottakes.com. And if you want to watch the full replay or get access to our premium content, subscribe now at stream915.com. We appreciate you tuning in.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.